Hey there. Today we're going to walk through a really simple, but I think a really powerful story. It's called The Bridge of Relationship, and it's all about how easily we can break our connections with people and, more importantly, how we can rebuild them. So let's just start with something I think we've all felt. Have you ever had one of those really tough fights with someone you care about? A family member, a good friend? Yeah, that feeling. It's right at the heart of the story we're getting into. Our story is about two brothers, and these guys weren't just brothers. They lived on farms right next to each other, and they were the best of partners. For a really, really long time, everything between them was just perfect.
And when I say a long time, I'm not kidding. For 25 years. Think about that. For a quarter of a century, they did everything together. They shared tools, they traded work, they helped each other out, and they never had a single solitary problem. It was an incredible bond.
But then, all of a sudden, that 25-year partnership just crumbled. And what's wild is how fast it happened. It all kicked off with just one tiny misunderstanding. But that one little thing, it exploded. It turned into angry, bitter words, and then nothing. Just weeks of total silence. What they were going through is something we call a rift. And it's not just a little argument, A rift is a serious, deep break in a relationship. That connection they'd had for decades, it was just gone. And pretty soon, the land around them started to reflect how they felt inside. There was this little creek that ran between their farms, and suddenly it felt like a giant canyon separating them. The older brother was convinced the younger one had widened it on purpose, just to spite him. That little stream became a huge symbol of their fight. So just when things feel like they can't get any worse, someone new shows up. One morning, the elder brother hears a knock on his door. It's a man holding a carpenter's toolbox, just looking for a bit of work. The elder brother sees this as his chance. But not to reconnect, no, to divide them even further. He points across the creek and he's just filled with anger. He tells the carpenter he wants him to build something so he never has to look at his brother's face ever again. The carpenter, he just listens. He nods and says he gets it, and he promises he'll do a job that will make the brother happy. So, with all the supplies laid out, the elder brother takes off for town, leaving the carpenter to get started. Later that day, as the sun is going down, the brother gets back home. He looks over toward the creek, expecting to see a huge fence or a wall. But what he sees instead just stops him dead in his tracks. His jaw literally drops. It's the last thing in the world he ever expected. It wasn't a wall. It wasn't a fence. The carpenter had built a bridge. A gorgeous, sturdy bridge, complete with handrails, stretching right across the creek and connecting his farm to his brother's. It was a symbol of connection, not division. And as he's just standing there, completely stunned, he sees movement. It's his younger brother, and he's walking across that new bridge toward him. And his arms, they weren't crossed in anger. They were open wide. The younger brother walks right up to him and says, "You are so kind and humble. After everything I did, everything I said, you built this bridge for us. I am so sorry." You see, he thought the elder brother had been the one to build it, as a peace offering. And that word the younger brother used, humble, is everything here. It just means not being proud or arrogant. In that one moment, he saw what he thought was his brother's action as this incredible act of kindness and humility. And just like that, because of one man's quiet wisdom, the two brothers were hugging each other right there in the middle of the field. All those weeks of angry silence, they were gone. The rift was healed. They were so happy, they both turned to find the carpenter to thank him.
The elder brother, just bursting with gratitude, asked the man to please stay, saying he had plenty more work for him.
But the carpenter just smiled, shouldered his toolbox, and said, "I'd love to stay, but I have many more bridges to build." And with that, you realize his job was never just about wood and nails. His real job was building connections between people.
So, what does this all mean for us? What's the big takeaway here? How can we take what that carpenter did and apply it to our own lives? Well, let's talk about how to build your own bridges.
The lessons from this story are really simple, but they're so important. It's about being willing to accept when you're wrong, right? Like the younger brother did when he walked across that bridge. It's about remembering not to let tiny, petty arguments tear apart huge relationships. It's about being kind and humble. And sometimes it's about doing the unexpected thing, building a bridge when someone expects a wall, to finally break a cycle of anger. But most of all, it's about forgiveness, and never forgetting how valuable the people in our lives truly are.
So, as the carpenter walked off to his next job, he kind of left a question hanging in the air for all of us. And it's the one I want to leave you with today. In your own life right now, what bridge do you need to build?